When I first started playing Icarus, I had no idea how to spend talent points or which playstyle to adopt. Without knowing the game, making mistakes was inevitable. So you either rely on guides and videos, or you learn the hard way through trial and error. However, finding truly reliable guides isn't easy. It takes experience to write them, and without hours of gameplay behind you, it's hard to give solid advice. I've logged over 4,000 hours in the game, and that's the experience my advice is built on and what you need.
Now you've created your character, your open world, and you've started exploring a bit of everything. Just like in any other survival game, you'll unlock the items you want to craft by spending points in the tech tree. The tech tree is divided into 4 main tiers, starting from the Stone Age and progressing all the way to advanced electronics.
By performing certain actions like skinning a carcass, breaking bones, and many others, you gain experience, which is needed to level up. However, it's primarily killing that grants the highest amount of experience points. With each level gained, you receive talent points, solo talent points, and tech tree points. These are essential for developing our playstyle and unlocking new abilities and technologies.
As mentioned earlier, the tech tree is used to unlock the items we want to craft. Talent points, on the other hand, determine what we are capable of doing. They improve our abilities, stamina, speed, gathering efficiency, and much more. When playing in co-op, you benefit only from talent points. But if you're playing solo, you gain the advantage of benefiting from both talent points and solo talent points. The number of possible builds in Icarus is virtually infinite. It all depends on your playstyle and how you choose to invest your points. That said, we can identify some useful broad categories to help guide your choices. Bows and crossbows, spears, blades, firearms, tools, husbandry, fishing. To be truly effective and efficient, especially in the end game, it's important to focus on a single approach. For example, if your goal is to deal maximum damage with a bow, it makes no sense to waste talent points on other weapon types. Every point matters and should be spent to enhance what you do best. The maximum level you can reach is 60. From level 1 to 60, you will earn a total of 103 talent points, 30 solo talent points, and 210 blueprint tech tree points. After reaching level 60, you will no longer receive talent points or solo points. However, you can continue to earn blueprint points, which are used to unlock technologies in the tech tree.
In reality, the total number of available talent points is 96 points earned by leveling up to 60, plus 7 bonus points unlocked by completing 3 specific missions. These 7 points are not stackable between characters. You only need to complete each mission once, and the bonus becomes permanently available. Once unlocked, these bonus points will be available for every new character you create. The missions that grant extra talent points are Nightfall, 2 extra points on Olympus map, Ironclad, 2 extra points on Styx map, Null Sector, 3 extra points on Prometheus map. Maximum total, 103 talent points, which is 96 from leveling up, plus 7 permanent bonus from missions.
If you're a new player, my recommendation is to start with a specialized bow crossbow build. Why? You deal huge critical damage with headshots. You can eliminate enemies silently and from a distance, often with a single shot. Even bosses can be taken down efficiently with good aim and the right arrows. Compared to firearms, bows have a major advantage. Advanced arrows are often recoverable. Bullets, on the other hand, are consumed with every shot, making firearms far more resource-intensive over time.
Let's move on to the best possible build, based on my experience, expertise, and obsessive attention to detail. We'll now start spending talent points. There are 4 main categories, each containing different specializations. We'll begin with the survival category, specifically the resources branch. At the top right of each talent box, there is a symbol. Each symbol represents a different unlock level. 4 points to reach apprentice rank, 4 more points to reach journeyman rank, 4 more points to reach master rank. So, for example, if you want to unlock a talent at the end of the master rank in the resources branch, you must first spend 12 talent points within that branch.
The essential talents in the resources branch are as follows. Dense Packing 1 plus 20% weight capacity to 3 talent points. Carry On minus 25% over encumbrance penalty to 4 talent points. Lumber Yield plus 5% yield from chopping trees to 1 talent point. We don't actually need the 5%, but we must take this talent to reach journeyman rank and unlock the next one. Now we can access Dense Packing 2 plus 20% weight capacity to 3 talent points. Exotic Sprinter plus 10% movement speed while carrying exotics to 3 talent points. Even having just 1 exotic in your inventory will activate this speed bonus. Finally, we add Wood Breakdown, allows you to turn wood into sticks, to 1 talent point. Seasoned Logsman, wood is automatically collected when chopping trees, to 1 talent point. In total, we've spent 16 talent points in the resources branch. Nothing else is needed here.
In the second branch, Hunting, the essential talents for this build are Chase 'em Down plus 40 maximum stamina, 3 talent points. Swift Stalker plus 10% crouching movement speed, 3 talent points. Leather Breakdown unlocks blueprint to convert leather into rope directly on the character, 1 talent point. Without a Sound, minus 15% perceived threat while stealthed, 3 talent points. Alone, this isn't very impactful, but when combined with other sources, you can become nearly invisible. Trained Hunter, minus 10% knife wear while skinning, 1 talent point. Careful Skinner, plus 10% leather yield from skinning, 1 talent point. Chase 'em Down 2, plus 40 maximum stamina, 3 talent points. At this point, you can stop here, or invest another 3 talent points to unlock some useful but non-essential options. Quick Getaway triggers 5 seconds of increased stamina regeneration when damaged, 1 talent point. Blueprint Ghillie Armor grants access to ghillie armor blueprints, 1 talent point. Blueprint Arctic Armor grants access to Arctic armor blueprints, 1 talent point. Blueprint Arctic Armor requires Master rank, meaning at least 12 points spent in this branch. I suggest to only unlock these armor blueprints with 1 character. For example, create an open world and access it with the character that has the blueprints unlocked. Make them, and if you later join the same world with another character, those armors will still be available there, even if that character can't normally craft them. In total, we've spent 18 talent points in the Hunting branch.
In the third branch, Cooking Farming, the essential talents for this build are Naturally Preserved, negative 50% rate of food spoiling, 3 talent points. Green Thumb, plus 20% planted crop growth speed, 2 talent points. Get Seed Master, plus 200% seed yield, 2 talent points. Get Up and Go, plus 10% maximum stamina, 3 talent points. Speed Grow, plus 20% planted crop growth speed, 2 talent points. Fresh is the best. Crops in created crop plots will not wither, 1 talent point. Food Pyramid, plus 1 space in stomach, 1 talent point. Food Pyramid requires Master rank, meaning at least 12 points spent in this branch. In total, we've spent 14 talent points in the Cooking Farming branch.
In the second macro category, Adventure, there are 3 branches: Exploration, Husbandry, and Fishing. For our Bow Crossbows build, we're only interested in the Exploration branch, and the essential talents are Robust Explorer, plus 50 maximum health, 3 talent points. Swift Survivor, plus 10% movement speed, 3 talent points. Pack Lightly, plus 10% weight capacity, 3 talent points. Go with the Flow, plus 15% swimming speed, 2 talent points. Amphibian, minus 10% oxygen consumed while swimming, 1 talent point. Forest Master, plus 5% movement speed and plus 10% health regeneration in forests, 1 talent point. Arctic Master, plus 5% movement speed and plus 15% cold resistance in Arctic zones, 1 talent point. Desert Master, plus 5% movement speed and minus 25% water consumption in the desert, 1 talent point. In total, we've spent 15 talent points in the Exploration branch.
In the third macro category, Habitation, there are 3 branches: Repairing, Tools, and Building. For our build, we're only interested in 1 talent from the Repairing branch, Ready to Work, plus 30% stamina regeneration, 3 talent points. In total, we've spent 3 talent points in this category.
Before moving on to the final macro category, Combat, we'll use our 30 solo talent points. The selected talents are Marathon Runner, plus 50 maximum stamina, 2 points. Lightning Recovery, plus 20% stamina regeneration, 2 points. Fleet-Footed, plus 10% movement speed, 2 points. Healthy Maverick, plus 100 maximum health, 2 points. Bounce Back, plus 20% health regeneration, 2 points. Tis But a Scratch, plus 15% physical resistance, 3 points. Low Maintenance, minus 20% water, food, oxygen consumed, 2 points. Very, Very Quiet, minus 15% perceived threat while stealthed, 1 point. Sweet, Savory, Satisfied, plus 10% food effects duration, 1 point. The Big 3, plus 15% yield from chopping trees, mining stone, and harvesting, 1 point. Pack Horse, plus 25% weight capacity, 1 point. Mobile Stockpile, minus 20% carry weight of wood, stone, and ores, 1 point. Savage Hunter, plus 50% yield from butchering animals and bones, 2 points. Savage Hunter 2, plus 50% yield from skinning leather and fur, 2 points. Heavy Hitter, plus 10% melee damage, 2 points. Honed Heads, plus 10% damage and plus 10% reload speed with bows and crossbows, 2 points. Slice and Dice, plus 10% damage with knives and thrown knives, 2 points. In total, we've used exactly 30 solo talent points. We've spent a total of 66 talent points. Out of the 103 available, we still have 37 points to use. In the final macro category, Combat, there are 4 branches that define your combat style: Bows and Crossbows, Spears, Blades, Firearms. This is a Bows and Crossbows specialized build, so we unlock the following talents in that branch. Bows Agility, plus 10% movement speed with Bows Crossbows equipped, 3 talent points. Increased Arrow Damage 1, plus 10% damage with Bows Crossbows, 3 talent points. Increased Arrow Damage 2, plus 10% damage with Bows Crossbows, 3 talent points. Easy Draw, minus 15% stamina used for bow actions, 3 talent points. Quick Load, plus 15% reload speed for Bows Crossbows, 3 talent points. Swift Flight, plus 10% arrow speed, 3 talent points. Bullseye,
plus 30% accuracy with Bows Crossbows, 2 talent points. Trained Bowsmith, increases health of crafted bows, 1 talent point. Soft Spot 1, plus 15% critical damage with Bows Crossbows, 2 talent points. Hindering Shot, plus 15% chance to slow on hit, 3 talent points. Wounding Shot, plus 15% chance to cause bleeding on hit, 3 talent points. Supply and Demand, plus 10% projectile damage, 3 talent points. Twice the Fun, 15% chance to fire an additional arrow bolt, 2 talent points. Soft Spot 2, plus 25% critical damage with Bows Crossbows, 2 talent points. Homing Instinct, arrows bolts will automatically lock onto targets, 1 talent point. Many players unlock Pinning Shot to immobilize targets, but with only a 5% chance to trigger, it only affects large animals. If your aim is good, a bear is dead before you ever need to immobilize it. Plus, it's a talent that doesn't really fit a survival game. This build is deadly and devastating. Just consider the plus 40% critical damage bonus, enough to take down almost any target with a single headshot.
We have maximum health with regeneration, maximum stamina with regeneration, maximum movement speed, an extra stomach slot, which is essential, and several quality of life improvements, including, for example, the ability to automatically collect wood when chopping down a tree. Anyone who criticizes the game for being too difficult clearly doesn't understand it well. I say this with confidence because even under these conditions, you're already incredibly powerful. And if that's not enough, there are more buffs available.
This part is aimed at those who have already spent many hours in the game, unlocking the full tech tree and building an advanced, complete, and efficient base. A base where, if you want something, you can build it. We can gain additional buffs from several sources. From the type of bow, crossbow, and arrows you use. From your armor, including the backpack, and upgrades applied through the advanced Alteration bench. From the tonics crafted at the chemistry bench. And finally, from the food you cook in the smoker, the electric stove, and the marble kitchen bench.
Let's start with cooking. There are tons of dishes you can prepare, each one offering some truly amazing bonuses. It's pretty clear that if you just cook a basic steak on a campfire without making anything more advanced, the game will feel hard, even impossible, especially when facing tougher enemies. Food buffs are absolutely essential. By default, we can only eat 3 different types of food because we only have 3 available stomach slots. That's why in the third tree, Cooking and Farming, we've unlocked the Food Pyramid talent, which gives us 1 extra stomach slot. And later on, we'll also see how to unlock the 5th.
It's clear that in every different build, you'll want to consume the foods that best enhance that specific setup. In our case, the best companions are, without a doubt, Bacon Buddy, which gives a plus 25% critical damage, and Crispy Bacon, with a plus 10% critical damage. Other dishes are also interesting, such as Chewy Coconut Cookie, Caramel Pastry, Choc Chip Cookie, Caramel Berry Tart, and Pavlova, thanks to their bonuses to reload speed and charge speed. But we can do better, because what really matters to us are 2 things: projectile damage and critical damage. There are 7 different dishes that give a bonus to projectile damage. Carrot Cake Piece, plus 30% projectile damage. Shepherd's Roll, plus 15% projectile damage. All the others provide a plus 10% bonus: roast vegetables, stew, potato and carrot fries, soybean stir fry, and tomato and egg bowl. Among these, the top 3, Carrot Cake Piece, Shepherd's Roll, and roast vegetables will be our favorites, alongside, of course, the buddy and the crispy bacon.
The chemistry bench doesn't offer anything useful for bows or crossbows. So, let's move straight to the advanced alteration bench. Just like with food, upgrading tools, weapons, and armor always makes a big difference for your overall build. Armor upgrades. There are 4 essential attachments. Tracking attachment plus 15% critical hit damage can only be applied to the helmet. Nutrition attachment plus 1 stomach slot can only be applied to the chest. Advanced calibrated grip attachment minus 30% stamina used by tools, minus 20% item wear, can only be applied to arms. Advanced noise suppression attachment minus 20% perceived threat while stealthed, plus 20% movement speed while crouching, can be applied to chest, legs, and feet. For bows, rapid fire attachment, advanced strengthened string attachment, advanced trajectory module attachment. For crossbows, prototype notch attachment, advanced trajectory module attachment. For multiple weapons, advanced scope attachment. All great options depending on your weapon and the context. Remember, we can only apply 1 attachment per weapon, tool, or piece of armor. But let's clear up what each stat actually means. Arrow speed is the instant speed of the arrow when it's fired. It reflects its power and ability to travel farther. Charge speed is how long it takes to draw the bow. Aim speed is how quickly the reticle closes while aiming. Reload speed is how fast you can knock a new arrow or reload a bolt.
At this point, many of you are probably wondering, which is better, the bow or the crossbow? The main difference lies in how they work. A bow requires the shooter to manually hold the string under tension and release it with their fingers, or with a mechanical release. The crossbow, instead, uses a mechanism that locks the string in place, freeing the shooter from that effort and offering greater stability at the moment of the shot. A crossbow can be cocked in advance and kept ready. A bow, on the other hand, demands constant effort and refined technique for every single shot. From a power standpoint, the crossbow has a clear advantage. It can reach much higher draw weights than a bow and stores an enormous amount of energy, especially in compound models. Draw length, meaning the distance the string travels during the pull, also plays a key role. Traditional bows have longer draw lengths, but compound crossbows use cam systems that, even with shorter draws, can store significantly more energy. In terms of speed and power, arrows from a compound bow travel at an average speed of 300 to 350 FPS, with some high-end models exceeding 370 FPS. The kinetic energy typically ranges between 50 and 80 foot-pounds. Bolts from a compound crossbow, on the other hand, reach speeds between 350 and 450 FPS, and professional hunting models can easily surpass 500 FPS. The kinetic energy can go up to 180 to 200 foot-pounds, or even higher. So, the compound crossbow clearly wins in terms of impact energy and projectile speed. Range, effective and maximum. It's important to distinguish between effective range, the distance within which the shot remains accurate and powerful, maximum range, how far the projectile can fly before hitting the ground regardless of effectiveness. A modern compound bow in the hands of an experienced archer has an effective range of 40 to 70 meters. With advanced technique, it's possible to hit targets at 90 or even 100 meters, especially in sports shooting. However, difficulty increases greatly beyond 70 meters. A
A compound crossbow, instead, has a higher effective range, typically 80 to 100 meters. Some high-end models, especially hunting or military grade, can stay accurate up to 120 meters thanks to advanced optics. As for maximum range, an arrow shot from a compound bow can travel 250 to 350 meters, but beyond 100 meters, both accuracy and power drop significantly. A bolt from a compound crossbow can reach 400 to 500 meters, thanks to its higher mass and initial speed. But again, at such distances, the shot is no longer practical or accurate. It's just a demonstration of potential power. Final thoughts. In short, a compound bow is effective up to 70 to 80 meters with a max range around 300 meters. A compound crossbow is effective up to 100 to 120 meters with a max range reaching 500 meters. So the crossbow is superior in range, power, and long-range accuracy. The bow, however, stands out for its firing speed, manual control, and maneuverability, making it better suited for dynamic and technical use. In the game, overall, there isn't much difference. It all depends on the context, who you're up against, and what kind of crossbow and bolt, or bow and arrow, you've got. It depends on your aim, your buffs, and your playstyle. The crossbow does deal more damage. Its bolts are far more penetrating than arrows, and they slow the target down. But it has one big drawback. After a few shots, you need to reload. The bow, instead, deals slightly less damage, but has a much faster rate of fire. It's perfect for fast-paced battles, especially against enemy groups or a boss. Also, in the early game, you can build a simple bow and craft arrows using just wood. The crossbow, on the other hand, doesn't use wooden or bone bolts. You start straight from iron. In a moment, we'll take a look at the stats. So, to recap, in early game, use the bow. In mid-game, use the bow. In in-game, it depends on the context. If you're fighting at range, there's not much difference. But if the fight is close, intense, or you're facing a boss and you don't have a fast crossbow, then there's only one choice: the bow.
Let's take a practical example. If you're fighting the Rime-Tusk Matriarch and you're using only a bow, you won't have any trouble, not even when the Arctic Vespers start flying toward you. But if you decide to go with the crossbow, sure, you can, but only on the boss. Why? Because while you're reloading, there's no way you'll be able to handle all those flying swarms. So you'll definitely need a support weapon. Or, ironically, another bow.
Let's open those crates. The 6 bows in the first row were crafted without the talent we're using in this build, namely Trained Bowsmith. And as you can see, they don't have the plus 15% maximum health bonus. You can spot the difference easily, especially when compared to the bows in the second row. All of these bows are, of course, single shot. They come with +1 ammo capacity, a rate of fire of 300 rounds per minute, and a reload time of 0.7 seconds. Among the 6 bows that can be crafted, the only difference lies in their projectile damage. And of course, the best one is the compound bow. In the third row, we find the purple bows, the ones you can buy from the workshop. Basically, a kind of space shop. Items bought there can be taken with you right away, whether you're going on a mission, exploring open world, or setting up an outpost. Or you can purchase them ahead of time and then request them directly while playing. The first 3 bows are meant for early game, but honestly, it's smarter to save up Ren and exotics for more valuable purchases later on. That said, the caveworm bow is already a solid option.
The Larkwell-Martinez compound bow, on the other hand, is basically the same as the one you craft in the foundry, except it has plus 25% projectile damage. The Shandong HS2 bow deals a bit less damage, but it's extremely fast. It has a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute and a reload time of just 0.3 seconds. Lastly, the Shandong CZ4 bow is similar to the Martinez, but it's only really useful against enemies that are specifically weak to one of the 4 elements. So, which one's the best? As always, it depends on the context. The Martinez deals the most damage overall, and it's also my personal favorite. The HS2 does the least damage of the 3, but fires twice as fast. Since most enemies go down in a single shot, that extra speed only helps against bosses or tougher enemies. Same goes for the CZ4. It's only useful if the enemy is weak to a specific element and you're using elemental arrows.
So, why choose between craftable weapons and workshop weapons? Well, here's something important to know. Over time, all weapons will wear down and eventually break. When that happens, you'll need to repair them. For regular craftable weapons, you just use the required resources: wood, metals, fibers, depending on the weapon. But for weapons purchased from the space shop, it's a different story. To repair them, you'll need a special gadget, the Workshop Repair Kit bundle. You can buy it from the workshop as well. It's not very expensive, but it's still an extra cost. And there's more. Anything you craft within a world stays tied to that world. If you switch sessions, that item doesn't come with you. But anything that comes from the workshop can be stored, saved, and transferred between games. And that's a big advantage, especially in the long run.
The tactical bow, the one highlighted in yellow, is one of the new legendary weapons introduced with the Great Hunts DLC. It's highly customizable and can be configured in many different ways, depending on your playstyle. And because of that, it really deserves its own dedicated video. A full guide will be released along with all the other legendary weapons.
All right, let's move on to the craftable crossbows. When comparing them, there are 3 key things we need to consider: projectile damage, reload time, and ammo capacity. Now, the fire rate, or rounds per minute, is actually kind of misleading. It doesn't really matter unless it's backed by a fast reload time or a big ammo pool. Take the crossbow and the scorpion crossbow, for example. Yeah, they both have a fire rate of 120 rounds per minute, but they only shoot 1 bolt at a time and take a full 4 seconds to reload. That makes them pretty much useless in a fight. Now, the platinum crossbow is a different story. It comes with +4 ammo capacity and a 0.8 second reload, which makes it almost as fast as a bow. Definitely a solid pick if you're looking for something quick and responsive. But the best one, by far, is the titanium crossbow. You get +50% projectile damage, +6 ammo capacity, 1 second reload time, and +40 fire rate. Hands down, the top choice among all the craftable crossbows.
The purple crossbows are all single shot, and both the Icarus Rapid Crossbow and the Icarus Heavy Crossbow have way too slow a reload. Rejected. As for the Icarus Loon Crossbow, my favorite, and the Icarus Soul Crossbow, it's the same story we already discussed with the purple bows, the Martinez and the CH4. Unless you specifically need elemental damage with an effect tied to the bolt, the only real choice is the Icarus Loon Crossbow, plus 70% projectile damage, 0.7 seconds to reload, plus 200 fire rate per minute, plus 1 ammo capacity. Simply a fantastic crossbow. But on the titanium crossbow, we can apply the prototype notch attachment, plus 25% projectile damage, plus 25% over penetration damage, 45% chance to fire an additional projectile. That would bring the projectile damage up to plus 75%, with almost a 1 in 2 chance to fire a double bolt, meaning double damage. The choice is yours.
As you can see, craftable crossbows are slower than bows, and you'll need to rely on food buffs to reduce reload speed. But if you have the Icarus Loon crossbow, then any talk about slowness completely disappears. It has the same reload time as bows and almost the same fire rate.
Our build has the supply and demand talent, which means every arrow and bolt we craft will automatically get the Deadly 3 bonus, plus 10% projectile damage. As usual, in the first row, I placed a few arrows that were made without this talent. And you can tell right away they don't have the yellow aura. There's a huge variety of arrows, both craftable and purchasable from the space station store. And not all of them are for dealing damage. For example, the flare arrow is great for creating light when fired. The fire arrow is useful to start a fire or to light up an animal at night if you're not sure you'll kill it with the first shot. The prototype drill arrow added with the Great Hunt's DLC is just brilliant. Not for combat, but because you can mine with it. It actually digs out ores. Other notable arrows. Poison, stone, and bone arrows are solid for the early game. The flint arrow starts doing respectable damage. But the best among craftables is easily the composite arrow. 110 projectile damage, plus 25% critical damage, only 5% chance to break, really low break rate, super efficient. Then we've got elemental arrows, poison, freeze, and more. One of my favorites, right up there with the composite, is the obsidian arrow. Because when it hits a target, it applies minus 50% health regeneration, minus 25% max health. From the workshop, a few standouts are Larkwell-Martinez arrow, 105 projectile damage. Larkwell-Martinez ballistic arrow, 60 projectile damage, 300 explosive damage, plus 500 explosive radius. Absolutely devastating, but be careful with range or you'll blow yourself up. Larkwell-Martinez taser arrow. Icarus rose arrow. There's basically an endless variety. If you can buy them, great. Otherwise, composite and obsidian is a deadly combo.
I didn't bother putting bolts without the talent in this box either. Now, when it comes to bolts, there's a bit less variety compared to arrows. And we don't get composite bolts. But we do have the titanium bolt. So, our go-to craftable combo is titanium bolt and obsidian bolt. A bolt does more damage than an arrow simply because it's thicker and heavier. From the workshop, we've got Larkwell-Martinez piercing bolt and Larkwell-Martinez explosive bolt.
In this last box, you'll find everything a perfect bow and crossbow build should have. I'm not going to list every single item again. I'll just scroll through the selection so you can read it yourself. I'm just explaining how to activate the 5th food slot in the stomach. Create a chest piece from any type of armor and apply the nutrition attachment to it. This way, when you need 5 buffs from 5 different meals, all you have to do is equip that chest and eat the 5th food. Once that's done, you can switch back to your regular armor. The 5th food slot will remain active until the timer on that food runs out.
We've analyzed the stats of the most powerful weapons, including the best arrows and bolts. Now, I'm going to show you a sequence of quick kills using 7 different animals of various sizes as models in the Arctic biome. Wolf, snow leopard, Arctic moa, polar bear, mammoth, Arctic scorpion, and quarite. In this biome, animals are slightly stronger compared to those in other environments. A polar bear, for example, is noticeably tougher than a regular bear. For these tests, I used the 4 best bows in the game, along with the top 3 crossbows. I also used the best arrows and bolts, both craftable and non-craftable. Total, 114 kills.
Between the composite arrows, the best craftable arrows, and the titanium bolts, the best craftable bolts, stealth critical hit damage is nearly the same across all weapons except for the Larkwell-Martinez compound bow from the workshop. However, things change when using the Larkwell-Martinez piercing bolts, which can also be purchased from the workshop. In that case, every crossbow deals significantly more damage than before, and even outperforms any bow. Unfortunately, when it comes to bows, even though there's a wide variety of arrows available, none of the workshop options go beyond 110 projectile damage. That said, the Larkwell-Martinez compound bow still does a great job. As for the enemies, the Arctic Scorpion is weak to fire and explosives. The Quarite, on the other hand, is vulnerable to poison and mining damage, but resistant to fire. Since it has no critical weak spots, the fastest way to bring it down is with explosives.
Stealth critical hit damage with the helmet and 5 food buffs active increases exponentially. And as always, between composite arrows and titanium bolts, stealth crit damage stays almost the same across all weapons, except for the Larkwell-Martinez compound bow. Crossbows, when using Larkwell-Martinez piercing bolts, can reach up to 6,334 stealth crit damage. Still want to eat that steak cooked over a campfire? Maximum explosive damage, though? Still the same, so no clips for that. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. That's an order.